What film do you see as a cinematic masterpiece? Jurassic Park, 1993. The movie delivered well on its promise to show us dinosaurs. How is it that 30 years later, the new dinosaurs look less realistic than the original ones? A lot of the dinosaurs were animatronics, not CGI. There was a lot of groundbreaking CGI in that film, but in a time, or at least most of the time, they directly interacted with people or things. They used real models. The herd moving on the plane at a distance, CGI. Up close and personal, physical object. Many up close shots were also CG. The raptors snapping at each other in the kitchen, for example. But a lot of the raptor action was actually people in raptor suits, with a little CG here and there, to make them look a little more natural. Shawshank Redemption. That movie satisfies me in ways no other movie can. Like, when shit hits the fan for the director at the end, and he sees no other way out than suicide. Yes, go to hell motherfucker. It's just earned and feels great. Also, it's one of those very rare cases I've seen where both the original version and the adaptation are incredibly good. Saving Private Ryan chokes me up every time. For the Normandy beach scene alone, this movie was a cinematic masterpiece. Watching those first 15 to 20 minutes in the theater, I legit held my breath. I don't think I exhaled until they secured that beach. Painfully raw and accurate, I assume. I'll always point this out when this movie is brought up, but the beach scene in the movie takes about 20 minutes. In reality, it took 6 hours to secure Omaha. They knew it would be nearly disastrous, and leadership of Omaha wanted to land before everyone else. But higher command figured that would ruin the element of surprise, and said no. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. For its cinematography, soundtrack and storyline. The score is a work of genius. Ennio Morricone was just sublime. The cast was excellent, as was the script. A truly outstanding film. Clint Eastwood's best film, in my opinion. 12 Angry Men. Interesting thing that I read about the film, that I never realized while watching it, is the perspective of the camera as the film progresses. At the beginning of the movie, the camera is up high, looking down on the jurors. With that perspective, the viewer is looking into the jury room and observing. As the movie progresses, the camera keeps getting lower, bringing the viewer into the jury room. Instead of viewing the jurors passively from above, the viewer is getting face to face with them. It is forcing the viewer into the jury and forcing the viewer to actively take a side. Terminator 2. Just watched this movie again for the first time in a few years twice, and it is still amazing. One of the best sequels ever made as well, hands down. Terminator 2 and Aliens, essentially Alien 2, were the best sequels and absolute masterpieces in their era. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. All of them, just beautifully filmed, perfectly cast and expertly put together. I don't think we'll ever get something as good as that again. Truly my favorite films ever. I'm a Tolkien geek, and understand why some of my fellow Tolkien geeks have problems with the trilogy, but would remind them that the source material Tolkien was basing the story off of was primitive Indo-European mythologies, which have been told many different times in many different forms, so the adaptations Peter Jackson made to tell them on the big screen are fully justified in my opinion. This should be higher. They really nailed something previously thought impossible. These movies also truly changed the world of cinema, because it showed how much impact a good fantasy story could have. We've seen a drastic increase in fantasy and even sci-fi movies since the release of the Lord of the Rings movies. Everything Everywhere All at Once. The emotion, the humor, the story, the action, the visual flair. It legitimately felt like I was watching a movie destined to become a beloved classic. Was told to watch it knowing nothing about it, so I did, and laughed my ass off, bawled my eyes out, screamed no fucking way, and watched it 4 more times, noticing new stuff every time. Absolutely one of the most well put together films ever made. Couldn't agree anymore. I have been recommending this movie to everyone, definitely one of the best movies I have seen in a long time. Harry Potter, The Philosopher's Stone. Honestly, the entire film series is this impossible cinematic gift. The first film is wonderful of course, but keeping that main cast totally together for 8 films, except for Richard Harris, has created one of the most incredibly adaptations in film history. Sorry, but Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is the best. If the Potter films, it's so well directed and shot. The final 2 or 3 films drift back towards the style, but suffer in the editing. Prisoner of Azkaban has the perfect mix of serious and yet playful tone. Pirates of the Caribbean. At World's End especially, the whole Maelstrom sequence is legendary, especially paired with Hans Zimmer's soundtrack. This is a day you will always remember as a day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. John Carpenter's The Thing. Plot, setting, theme, score, effects, all of it is just astoundingly well made and holds up to this day if you want a dread inducer mixed with damn good body/gore horror. To this day it genuinely feels claustrophobic when they show the exterior of the base, how truly trapped and hopeless their survival really is. Jacob Geller has an excellent video on freezing to death, one that summarizes what I could text dump for the next hour. There are 3 main characters. Humans. The alien. The cold. All of them lethal in their own horrific ways. Paranoia. Assimilation. I see death. This movie exemplifies how all 3 characters in the same scenario can be absolute hell. I will always watch The Thing on any day. 1917. From a film and cinematic standpoint, it's really fantastic. One of the best movies I've seen. Visually stunning, and I cared so much about the characters even after so little time with them. I watch it whenever it's on, and it doesn't matter which part of the movie is playing, because every scene is beautiful. The most consistently tense film I have ever seen, and I absolutely love the way it was shot. I avoided it for a long time, because I actually thought it was a romance film, but put it on one night, because I love that period of history, and it had good reviews. Needless to say, I was absolutely blown away, and it's probably my favorite film about any war. Thanks for watching the video. For more content like this, please subscribe, like, and share the video and push the notification button.